Yo, in today's video, we'll be looking at creepy and woke TikToks that will shatter your reality. And some of these videos are pretty special. These videos were sent in by a few of my subscribers. But yeah, let's get to it.
The next breakthrough is to cut that 10 million in half again. And I think that's doable in well under 20 years. Why? Well, there's only a few diseases that account for the vast majority of those deaths. Diarrhea, pneumonia, and malaria. And so that brings us to the first problem that I'll raise this morning, which is how do we stop a disease, a deadly disease, that's spread by mosquitoes? People didn't know what caused it until the early 1900s when a British military man figured out that it was mosquitoes. So it was everywhere. And two tools helped bring the death rate down. One was killing the mosquitoes with DDT. But malaria, even the million deaths a year caused by malaria, greatly understate its impact. Over 200 million people at any one time are suffering from it. Means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
There's no reason only poor people should have the experience.
And when you use indoor spraying with DDT, and those nets, you can cut deaths by over 50%. And that's happened now in a number of countries. It's great to see. But we have to be careful because malaria, the parasite evolves and the mosquito evolves. So every tool that we've ever had in the past has eventually become ineffective. And so you end up with two choices. If you go into a country with the right tools in the right way and you do it vigorously, you can actually get a local eradication. And that's where we saw the malaria map shrinking. Or if you go in kind of half-heartedly, for a period of time you'll reduce the disease burden, but eventually those tools will become ineffective and the death rate will soar back up again. And the world has gone through this, where it paid attention and then didn't pay attention. Now we're on the upswing. There's new drug discovery going on. Our foundation is backed a vaccine that's going into phase 3 trial that starts in a couple months. And that should save over 2/3 of the lives if it's effective. And so we're going to have these new tools. But that alone doesn't give us the roadmap. Because the roadmap to get rid of this disease involves many things. And so as these elements come together, I'm quite optimistic that we will be able to eradicate malaria.
The bus is attacking us. The helicopter is flying, watching us.
Dropping bombs. That's crazy.
Are you wondering if it's working? The helicopter's up there, and everybody's running away because they got bus attacked. It's a concert. But it's a helicopter watching us run away from the bus as they dropping more of them on the sky.
People are leaving. Look at this shit.
They out there getting stung up. Wow.
Out of fucking nowhere. It just started. We were just sitting here for hours. Okay, I'm getting out.
AFRAM 2023, Baltimore, Juneteenth, Father's Day celebration, things. And I don't know what level was unlocked. I don't know who unleashed what. Honey, 3 million gnats, literally 3 to 5 million gnats came out of nowhere and started flying into people's mouths, ears, noses, throats, eyes, everywhere. It was stuck on people's eyelashes. It was in their wigs, in their hair. It was everywhere. I know New York had a plague of bees a couple of weeks ago, and honey, this must be the plague of gnats in Baltimore, Maryland. What is this, honey? What is this? As you can see, people are leaving. That is a surefire way to get the crowd out of there. And that's exactly what happened, y'all.
Yo, it's a whole new kind of war out here, for real. Dropping mosquitoes on them. They don't drop bombs no more. They just drop mosquitoes and insects or whatever it is. That's crazy. You clearly seen everybody was just dancing, having a good time. You see the chopper. She said they dropping stuff. Next thing you know, everybody getting stung. That was wild.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid. The airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere. Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it. I love your eyes.
Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Why the heck are celebs all painting their Maui properties the same weird shade of blue? Rumors have swirled since October 2022 about Lahaina's elite painting their homes a unique shade of blue. Not just any blue, mind you, but an exact shade. Sounds like a quirky celeb trend, right? But what if there's more to it? Let's delve into the science of lasers, or as they're ominously termed, dews. Why? Because there's something interesting about a specific shade of blue and these energy beams. Here's the science. Certain energy rays interact differently with various colors on the spectrum. Some colors are more resistant or reflective, protecting underlying materials from harm. Remember those untouched umbrellas amidst the Lahaina devastation? Skyscraping trees untouched by disaster can be explained away. But how do you justify these seemingly invincible umbrellas? They're not just any umbrellas. They're blue, that exact shade of blue. Is there a connection between this specific royal blue shade, possibly dubbed the Mother Mary blue, and the dews? Could Lahaina's celebrities have insider knowledge, giving their homes a blue shield against these energy beams? This Lahaina blue mystery might be more than just a color trend. Dive deeper, ask questions, and always be curious. What do you think? Coincidence or a coded message in a hue? You decide.
So what y'all think about the blue? Man, look, it adds up. Whoever did their research on that's a real one, because I think that article came out in 2022 about why are all these celebrities, painting their houses blue, and then sure enough, what happens, and all the blue stuff doesn't get burned. So we know what happened there, man. We ain't slow.
There's a mysterious number known as Capricar's constant. It was discovered by the Indian mathematician D.R. Capricar in the late 1940s. Start by choosing a random 4-digit number. The only restriction is that at least 2 of the digits must be different. So for example, you couldn't choose 1111, but you could choose 1110. I'll choose the number 8273. Now we'll perform a handful of somewhat bizarre but rather simple operations. First, arrange the digits in descending order, so 8732. Then write this number in reverse, so 2378. Finally, subtract these two numbers. In this case, I get 6,354. Now we're going to repeat the steps using this number. Write the digits in descending order. Then subtract the reverse of this number. This time I get 3,087. As you might have guessed, we're now going to use this number to repeat the steps once again. The shuffling of digits and subtraction seemed like they would lead nowhere, just a never-ending sequence of arbitrary numbers. The astounding thing is that if you do this long enough, you will always eventually hit the number 6,174. If you try to keep going, you just get this number back again, forever. As long as at least 2 of the 4 digits in your initial number are different, this curious procedure will ultimately pull any 4-digit number you choose to exactly 6,174.
Yo, that's crazy. And when you add up 6174, it equals 9. Supreme mathematics, baby. The universe is built off mathematics. Yo, I think they just put out an article today that said DNA is written with just mathematics. What? Signs of the coming. Y'all saw all type of stuff all over the world, huh? I thought it was just in Vegas. Yo. How do you even clean up after that?
Police officer that was over there, he should be investigated. I was told by people who escaped there on foot that the officer had blocked the road, people could not get out. My brother literally had to go cut the chain off of the old sugar mill camp area to let people out of the top of Kilauea Mauka because the roads were all blocked because the police were blocking it. We want accountability. It needs to be investigated by a third party that is not associated with the government. I was blocked out several days. I could not come in. There was chaos. People was rioting. What's on those documents for FEMA? I'm an attorney myself. There's so many things that are questionable that has happened here. Right after that, the governor says, oh, I'm going to take the land. He's talking about the state wants to purchase all this land, that he should get this land. This land belongs to the people already. Okay. The government is liable for this, grossly negligent, at least if not criminally negligent. They should clean up all that land, restore that land to the people who own that, because they failed.
Facts. Yo, what's going on here?
Dark-skinned, woolly-haired, heavily melanated beings inhabited every square inch of the planet Earth long before the continents even shifted. So in 1492, when Christopher Columbus and his Spanish conquistador buddies came over here under the Spanish Inquisition and the doctrine of discovery and discovered a land that had already been inhabited for millions of years, that had a highly developed, highly advanced civilization already here, they found highly melanated, woolly-haired, copper-complected people, the organic to the land original people of the Americas, with a highly developed civilization. There's actually more pyramids on this side than there is on that side. In fact, the pyramids over here are older than the ones at Giza. The pyramids over here are older than the ones at Giza. You know what the original name for Mexico City is? Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan. Tehuti. Thoth, the Egyptian god, the pyramid of the sun, Quetzalcoatl, Teotihuacan. That's right. That's why a lot of your African American friends, if you ask them about their ancestry, they'll tell you that they're Creek or Cherokee or Blackfoot, or they have Indian in their family. That's right, because most so-called African American people are actually American people, Native American people, Aboriginal American people, organic to the land American people.
But humans today, we are so smart that we're going to outsmart ourselves. The moment we empower a machine to be bigger, smarter, faster, more intelligent than we are, and it's actually teaching itself how to teach itself.
Yeah.
Bro, how can you fight that?
So what end of the spectrum are we on now? The build or the destroy?
We're in the introduction stage. We're introducing what we're about to build.
Yeah. And that's the crazy thing. So we put a post up about like jobs that AI is going to be taking away. One of the biggest jobs that AI is going to be taking away is computer programmers. A lot of people don't understand that because they're like, well, a computer programmer has to program a computer. But what happens now is that now a computer programmer programs a computer. The computer now is programming another computer.
Thank you.
So now,
come on now,
the computer programmer is really after a while, the computer programmer is not needed because the computer is intelligent enough to become a teacher.
I ain't gonna lie, this AI stuff just sounds scary, don't it? Like, this sounds like the Matrix or something. AI and a computer teaching the other computer to be smarter than the computer before. So it just gets smarter and smarter and smarter 1,000 times faster than a human can. Man, we in for it.
And no, listen, program computers.
You're not understanding. The computer is already more intelligent than the human.
Well, yeah, definitely.
From a standpoint of education and information storage, it doesn't forget. We forget. We could be the most brilliant genius in the globe. Go to the club, take a couple shots, forget everything for a few hours. They don't do that. God forbid the most intelligent man on the earth gets into a car accident and wakes up with amnesia. They don't do that. They store this information. It stores this information. I'm already talking like the human. That's dangerous already. It stores this information and it can delegate it. It can, you know, it can like, I mean, it sends its own self messages. Like this thing, it's like, it's beyond the thought of man.
Literally.
Literally.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. And you talk about multitasking, it does a million things at the same exact time. So when you have a machine that actually teaches itself and then teaches how to teach itself a billion times over to the point where we're programming this to not be humanized. There's no human emotion attached to that. It's just basic coding, right? They said, oh yeah, we can always decode it, but what happens for the ones you don't decode? Or the ones that's too late to decode? Yeah. What, like, technology grows so fast, like, as humans, are we that arrogant to believe, or are we that arrogant to this point, or so entitled that what we have right now is just not enough? We want more? That's what's gonna kill us, is greed. Greed is what's gonna end this world. We want more and more, always want more. This is why I said we need more women leaders. Because women, at the end of the day, their motivation is family. Men, on the other hand, our motivation is power. And you can never get enough of that. So as long as men are leading, we're gonna die. All of us dead.
Well,
dead in the motherfucker.
Always visualize.
Yo, sorry. All the men out there, y'all heard it. Dead in the mother.
Just before going to sleep. That's the one most important time, if there is a one most important time. Before you go to sleep every night, visualize yourself being, doing, and having the good which you desire. Because while you are asleep, your conscious mind is in abeyance for a longer period of time than at any other period in your daily life. And when you impress the subconscious just before going to sleep, the subconscious works with that idea that you've given it, even while you're asleep. The subconscious mind will be correlating you with all of the good which you have visualized. You say you may not realize it, but your mind is working for you or against you, even while you are asleep. And the mastermind within you says that if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. And whatever idea you lift up before your subconscious mind, before you go to sleep, that idea is impressed upon the subconscious and it draws that to you. You'll wake up in the morning and the right ideas will just be clicking in your head. You'll meet the right people for the right purposes at the right time. You'll meet strangers, but they'll be right for your right purpose. People will do things for you and they won't even know why. I heard somebody say, I know it. You can't lose with the stuff I use.
Absolutely no one.
Yo, I like what he said at the very end of that, yo. You can't lose with the stuff I use.
Creepy Tic Tac be like, if you blink, you'll miss it. Did you see it?
Alright,
the Teletubbies conspiracy theory claims that the show was inspired by events in a Bulgarian mental facility called La La Land. Psychotic children were purportedly isolated in dark rooms, and apparently 4 children who died on the same day inspired the characters in Teletubbies. Lala's facial disfigurement and 5 years of isolation inspired Lala. Tuate, a deaf, facially deformed child, was tied to the fence outdoors and frostbitten, inspiring Tinky Winky. Donka, starving and unwell, inspired Dipsy by lying in his vomit for days. Ultimately, Paulina fell into a fire and was roasted alive,
a fire?
Inspiring Poe. So why are they called the Teletubbies? The children's main source of comfort were the television sets in their room, and when they got word that the mental institution was getting rid of them, the children concocted a plan to hide the TVs. The children would rip out their insides to hide the miniature TV sets that were too big to swallow, only to be found dead by the returning caregivers the next morning.
Yo, isn't it?
That's crazy. Teletubbies, right? But wouldn't they want to call it Teletummies?
Weird how the Simpsons always predict the future? It's because they have to show you their playbook. Who is they and what playbook? The people who maintain control have to show you how they're controlling you. It's a galactic law that you cannot manipulate a planet without the inhabitants knowing. They subliminally tell you through fiction and jokes, hence why they control the media. It's called writers and imagination. Y'all swear everything is a conspiracy theory. None of this stuff is real. We can both agree that cigarettes are poisonous and contribute to a shorter life, right? Obviously, yeah. So if I sold you a pack of cigarettes and never warned you about the harm they cause, I'd be wrong, right? Absolutely. So you would agree that I'm kind of responsible for your death? Yeah, because you didn't warn me about the potential harm. But what if I display a sign saying poisonous cigarettes and you still decide to smoke it, resulting in your own death? Then that's not on you because I chose to do it. And that's how it works.
That's how it works, y'all.
Family, this timeline's not making any sense. It's not making any sense, fam. This is not the real world. Look, family, this is the Hindenburg. 1937. This is being filmed in 1937. Not only is the HD quality mind-blowing, but look at the city, fam. Remember, this is the Hindenburg, 1937, literally 1 hour before it went down in a blazing inferno over New Jersey. The Hindenburg. This is historical. This is not conspiracy theory, all right? This is live in your face. This is the Hindenburg airship over New York City, 1937. Take away 37 years. You get left with 1900. Minus another year, that's 1899. So get this straight. Let me get this straight. If you took away 87 years, you'd be back in motherfucking 1850. When did they start construction of this city, fam? When did they start building this? Because in the 1800s, there was no such thing as a power tool. There was horses and buggies. There was no power tools, nothing of the sort. Fam, you're looking at 1937, the Empire State Building. Everything is there already. It looks like New York right now. Family, how? When did they start construction? Who built this? Family, you're looking at Tartaria, bro. You're looking at Tartaria. Come on, man, stop playing. The timeline doesn't make any sense. Like I said, 37 years. From 1937, take away 37 years, you get 1900. Minus another 50, that's 1850. Horse and buggy business. That's when they had to start constructing this city for it to be here now. Family, this city did not take no 100 years to build. It did not take no 50 years to build. This is a couple hundred years worth of construction right here. They had to start this in the 1800s, early 1800s, late 1700s. How? What tools did they use to do this? Family, it's all bullshit. This is Tartaria. You're still in Tartaria. Look at these fucking cities. All they did was tear down all the real shit and put up a bunch of flimsy glass buildings and shit. Talking about Twin Towers and all these goofy shits. That's all they did. Put up their brutalistic architecture to cover over what was already there. Fam, the infrastructure was already here. We built this shit. There's no fucking way. When they came to these motherfucking United States of America, these cities was already here. How in the fuck? 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. 1400, 1500, 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900. Who built these cities? You got here in the 1400s. You weren't building it in the 1500s. You weren't building it in the 1600s. You definitely weren't building it in the 1700s or the 1800s. You didn't have power tools. So when did you start building this? In the 1900s? Well, this is 1937. It took you 37 years to do all this? Anyway, family, more receipts from the source chop. Don't let these monkeys tell you shit. You are literally looking at Tartaria. And this airship you're looking at, the Hindenburg, it's also Tartarian. Let's go, man. Chop, chop. Yeah.
Yeah, so council, they want us to believe that these people who came over with Columbus, these pilgrims and shit, who didn't even know how to plant food, didn't know how to eat an orange, didn't know about seasoning, the most simple basic shit in life they did not know. You want me to believe that they came over here and built all this? They got here in 1492. What the fuck are you talking about, nigga? That's a couple hundred years. They didn't even know how to farm. They spent 90% of the time dying before we taught them how to plant fucking food. What are you talking about? Trying to tell me that while you were learning to farm, simple fucking farm, you were engineering and building these motherfucking cities? Yeah, right, nigga. You came and stole our shit. Council, it's not that deep. The math isn't even that hard. First power tool invented 1895. And it took a while before everyone got to them. So you mean to tell me from 1900 to 1937, y'all had every city in the United States and around the world built? Man, go take a flying fuck.
I swear to God, we're living.
Yo, I hope y'all paid attention to that. I hope y'all realized what's going on here, because clearly these cities have been here a lot longer than what they say.
In some type of Black Mirror episode or something. So you guys all know Roundup, right? The same Roundup that is settling for over $11 billion because their spray causes cancer. Well, they market that they kill weeds such as clovers, dandelions, nettles, thistles, chickweed. You know what's common with every single one of those weeds? Every single one of them is medicine. Chickweeds, amazing for fertility. The thistles, amazing for the liver. Dandelions, all-body detoxifier. The nettle and the clover, really good for the lungs, for asthma, for the skin. Every single one of those is medicine. But yet we're spraying something that causes cancer on top of all of that medicine. And instead, we get sick from that spray, from our processed foods, from our sedentary lifestyles. And what do? We go to big pharma so that they can put more poisons in our body while putting us in debt. Yet our Creator loved us enough where they put all of these weeds, all of these herbs here, everywhere on the earth, so that we can use it as medicine. You don't even need to plant them. The wind will take them and put the seeds and help them grow everywhere so that we can heal our bodies naturally. So again, we're living in some type of Black Mirror episode. But if you're looking to wake up from this, go to our site, www.jordanraw.com. We have a whole bunch of herbal blends and teas that use all of those herbs so that you can heal your body naturally.
I will knock you. Yo, we definitely living in the Twilight Zone or something. Like, all of us is just brainwashed. The whole world got to be brainwashed at this point if that's the case.
Fucking keep down your fucking throat, you motherfucker! If you don't want to fucking be here, get the fuck out!
You watch your TV, but with this hack, your TV can watch you. Show us how that works.
So one of the things that we were able to do with the Smart TV platform was actually abuse the browser to the extent that we could actually gain access to the camera that's built into the TV.
Right.
And so what we can prove here is that with a little bit of extra code, you can turn the camera on in your browser.
Wow.
And while this is evident to you right here because we've designed it that way, this is something that we can do invisibly and actually have the camera running behind the web page that you're looking at.
So what this means is I could be sitting here watching TV from my bedroom, and you could be anywhere in the world looking at this image of me watching.
Yep, I could be sitting on a laptop in a cafe in Paris, and as long as I have a network connection, I'd be able to get into your TV and access the camera.
The kind of scary things about it is that it doesn't actually give any indication that the camera's on, and there's no little LED that shows up when the camera's on. So it could actually be watching you and you never even know.
What is a smart TV, and why is it a playground essentially for hackers?
Right. It's a computer. So instead of just being, a tube and some other electronics, now it has a web browser and it has, a lot of devices are running Linux.
But the real danger is when people start using smart TVs for things like online banking, we can take a popular bank address and translate that into a different IP address to a site that directs to a site that we control. So it may look like your bank's login, but you're actually entering a username and password that goes to us instead of your bank.
In a statement to CNN Money, Samsung says it takes consumer privacy very seriously. The camera can be turned into the bezel of the TV so that the lens is covered or disabled by pushing the camera inside the bezel. The TV owner can also unplug the TV from the home network when the smart TV features are not in use. As an added precaution, we also recommend that customers use encrypted wireless access points when using connected devices.
I'm going back to the old school ways. Give me a big old box TV, the big screen ones, and I'll be straight.
Let's answer a question that I always get. Who created God? Have y'all ever heard of the theory of general relativity? It's what Einstein is famous for. In his calculations, he started to realize that the universe was not eternal. It had a beginning. Now this leads us to the law of causality. Everything that came to be needs a cause. So Einstein clearly knew that if the universe had a beginning, it needed a cause. Let's go to the Big Bang Theory. There was no space, no time, and no matter before the Big Bang. The universe emerged out of nothingness. What does that mean? Since it's impossible for the universe to be able to create itself because it didn't exist in order to be able to create itself, nature and the universe itself was just a big effect that was caused by, what are we left with? An extremely powerful, extremely intelligent, precise, given the precision that our universe was created with, personal entity that is capable of existing outside of time, space, and matter. That can't be nothing but God. And for people that are like, okay, well, how do you know that it's like Christianity's God? There's only one God. But there's a very famous astronomer named Robert Jastrow. His credentials as a scientist are impeccable. Being agnostic, he's not even a Christian. He said that all of the essential elements of the Big Bang Theory line up with biblical creation. Because this is how God works. God speaks something and then science runs to catch up with what he said. Science doesn't create anything. Science studies creation. Let me just answer a question that I always get. Who created God? What'd I say? I said everything with a beginning. Everything that came to be needs a cause. God didn't come to be. God is eternal, the way a lot of people thought the universe was until science disproved it. So God doesn't need a cause or a creator. He is the cause. The universe is the effect. Don't just take my word for it. Go look into it for yourself. One more thing. Evidence is not a substitute for faith. Following God is not a matter of evidence or proof. It's a matter of the will. You have to want to do it so you can have the peace that you're looking for. And if you don't want to make that choice, no amount of evidence is going to convince you to. You have to want to.
So what kind of wildfire melts aluminum from the cars, melts the cars into the ground, but doesn't melt the asphalt? Let's get out our pen and paper and do some quick math. Aluminum melts at 1,220 degrees Fahrenheit. And asphalt's melting point is about 343 degrees Fahrenheit. So how in the world is it possible to have aluminum melted from the cars, but the asphalt isn't melted? Well, I'm going to show you how this is possible right now.
The world's first airborne directed energy weapon. The airborne laser, also known as the ABL.
ABL.
Just mounting the ABL requires one of the most sophisticated and elaborate modifications in history. The entire nose section is removed and retrofitted, and the world's largest titanium plate is installed to hold the enormous turret-mounted laser in place. The ABL system is designed to find, track, and destroy an enemy target in the air and on the ground. It can loiter at 40,000 feet for 5 hours, refuel in midair, and destroy a target 60 miles away in less than a second.
So these things just up in the air, just chilling all day. You probably can't even see it with your naked eye. They just up there and just beam. Man, I'm scared now.
This is why everything in blue was still intact, just like these umbrellas. Lasers can actually be programmed for different wavelengths. Notice how it doesn't burn the blue, but it burns everything else. In this episode of The Simpsons, they erect a new statue. When the sun hits it, it causes a laser beam. The same statue that was mysteriously placed in Hawaii. And now let's look at the aftermath. Everything is disintegrated except for this blue umbrella. It's time to wake up, people. Peace.
What would you do if you was riding on Spirit Airlines and the clouds start coming through the plane like this?
I don't know.
What would you do?
Be scared. I freak out. I don't know about you, but I definitely would freak out. Yo, I want to thank all the subscribers who sent me those videos. Those videos was definitely on point. But yeah, if you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.